Hey folks, this is Rob with Cherry City Woodworks, and we have a little bit of a different project today. As I'm sure you can tell by the video title, we're building an urn, and this urn is from my Uncle Mike, who passed away this last Monday. I'm doing this to try to honor my uncle's legacy, and I consider it an extreme honor and pleasure to be able to do this for my uncle. As well as to just make one less thing for my cousin and my aunt to think about during this very trying time for them. We're going to make this urn using some cherry, walnut, and some bird's eye maple. This is going to be less of a how-to video than some of my other projects have been. This is going to be a little more low-key and just give people an opportunity to kind of see how I'm putting this together for him and honoring him. So stick around and we will get started on the build. Thanks, guys. Alright, so I've already got my cherry wood all planed down, and I have it ripped down to one edge. Now we're just going to take it down to final width. We're over here at the chop saw, and I've already taken some squaring cuts off the far end. Now we just need to take the pieces down to length. So the length of this, the actual box part of this, is going to be 11 by 5. There we go. Now I just got to take some time to get the dovetail jig set up, because we're going to put the box together using dovetails. We got a Porter cable dovetail jig all set up and ready to go, so we're going to go ahead and just route out the tails of these dovetails. Alright, there are tails for the front or back, one of the two of the box. I'll go ahead and cut the tails on the other side and then get this thing set up to do with the pins, and I'll be back with you. Alright, we got the dovetail jig all switched around. We're ready to cut the first of our pins. So we'll just jump in here, we'll cut one, we'll test fit against the tails, and see how it comes out. Alright everybody, keep your fingers crossed. And I'm going to have to make a slight adjustment to the jig, because that's just a little too tight. Other than that, I think we're going to be good. I just got to loosen it up just a touch. Alright, anytime you're dealing with these dovetail jigs, your first joint you have to do some fiddling around with the adjustments to get it to fit exactly how you want. Now it's a little bit loose, but it fits pretty tight. I'm going to make some slight adjustments. You see a little bit of protrusion, but that can be nice because we can sand those down and get the whole thing really nice and flush. But that's going to look really nice. So I'll just go ahead and get all the rest of the dovetails knocked out and bring you back in time for the glue up. Be right back. Sometimes you have to convince your joints. That's okay. These are tight. Alright, let's throw a square on there and see how it looks. If I can get a square in there, that is. That looks good. Now we're cutting 8 pieces of walnut to make the base and the frame for the lid. Alright folks, today's the next day. I went ahead and I let the glue set up overnight. Got it out of the clamps, got everything sanded up, and as you can see those dovetails look really, really nice. Now I'm going to be honest with you. There were some gaps, and I was able to hide those because I take my DeWalt sander here, and every time I start a project, I clean out this collection bag. That way, whatever project I'm working on, the only thing in this bag is dust, sanding dust, from the wood that I'm currently working with. So what I'll do, in the case of having gaps that need touched up, I'll just take out that sawdust and mix it up with some regular wood glue, and it makes a really nice wood paste that you can fill gaps with, and they just disappear. So now we're on to making the base and the lid. Alright? Got the router table all dialed in. Now we're going to run all of our top and bottom pieces. We're kind of making these basically like you'd make a molding. It's going to be a really simple design. My uncle, I think, would have liked it simple, just with really nice, wood. So what this is going to be is the bottom molding and the lid are going to be the same size. They're going to be mirror images of each other, and what they'll both have facing towards the inside is just a chamfer, so cut off at a 45-degree angle, which is what this bit does, and then the top and bottom just a slight round over. We now have the router table all set up with a 5/8 inch straight cutting router bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these base pieces to the urn. That's going to be kind of a molding around the base. And we're going to do a rabbet in the top of that. And that's going to give somewhere for the actual box to kind of sit down in. So we're just going to run it on this and move on from there. Still on the bottom pieces here. You can see that rabbet for the box to sit down in looks really good. Now we're going to do another rabbet along the bottom. And what that's going to be for is for the bottom that's going to get attached to this. It's going to be just some thin 1/4 inch ply. What looks like a lid on the top is going to be permanently attached. And it'll just be the thin 1/4 inch ply with some screws that'll hold it on the bottom. Alright, so where we're at right now is we're cutting and hand fitting all the pieces around the bottom. And I'll try to show you the inside here. I've got pocket holes drilled for the top and the bottom. We're going to do the bottom first. As you can see, it'll still give us access to put the top on, and then we'll cut our 1/4-inch piece of plywood for the removable bottom that'll fit into this rabbet right here. You can see I now have 3 pieces of the bottom all attached, and I've got the one angle cut on this one side, and I gotta go cut it on the other. And we're doing this stuff, it's really best to cut a little bigger than you need to, and then just sneak up on the fit. Maybe I'll get lucky and get on the first shot. Actually got a good fit on the first shot. Perfect. A little bit more of a bead there on the rabbit. There you go. There's the box with the base. Got the nice rabbit in there for the false bottom to go into. Time to make the lid. Here we got our piece of maple burl that's going to make the panel for our top. And so I'm here back at the router table again, and we're just going to get this dialed up so that it's just ever so slightly, it'll go slightly deeper than that is thick. All right. Time to do some more rabbits. There it is, all glued up. A little bit of a pain getting it all in there, but that's it glued up. This is upside down, top's facing down. So now that this is all glued up and my corners are all nice and flush and fitted up, I'm going to give that a couple of hours to for the glue to set up. Then I'll come back out and we'll do final sanding and assembly and start throwing finish on there. Once again, had to mix up some wood putty. That's the walnut sawdust out of my sander with wood glue again. Here's our finished top, the maple burl. We just use that putty to hit up these corners real quick. Doesn't take too long to dry, at least not, I mean, long and dry enough to sand it and all that. Did a little bit on the base as well. So once this all dries up, we'll do a quick final sanding. Final assembly, we'll cut the piece of plywood to fill the bottom, and it'll be on to finishing. Be back with you in a few minutes. Time for the final assembly. Got everything sanded down and looking really good. Just got to get this centered on here. We'll use our pocket screws to permanently attach it. Alrighty. There we go. There's the completed box. Now just need some finish. What I'm using here is a semi-gloss lacquer. Alright, several more coats over the next several hours. I will check back in with you once it's completely finished. Alright folks, that's it for the urn build. I will flash to a couple still shots of it finished up close so you can really see how it looks. It turned out really nice. I think my uncle would have really liked it. So thanks for sticking around watching us do the build, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks a lot folks. Bye bye.